funny. Perhaps.
That's a good story.
That's a good story.
Let's see. Oh, we're live. We're live. Sorry, I got distracted. Hello. Let us know. Say hello in the comments. Let us know if you can hear us. Let me make sure that I turn off. There we go. The audio's off on that so that we do not have to hear ourselves. Hello, hello. I always feel like I have to take a second to let people get into the live. Let me just add something to the chat over here. Say hello. If you have questions, we're just going to chat about some random stuff today. But if you have questions, leave them in the comments so that we can see them. Put a couple Q's in front of it, like triple Q's or something, so that we can see it. Let me just, can you talk for a second so that I can type?
I can talk for a second.
If you have a question, leave it.
You scheduled this right in the middle of a jury going down right now.
No, I tried to schedule it for 1 o'clock, which is the lunch break of the court. Nothing happens from 1 to 2. Okay. That is when I tried to schedule it for.
That's fair.
You
we
had a scheduling conflict, and therefore we had to push it to 2:30. It was originally scheduled for 1.
We're making deals.
I just don't like being blamed for things that are not my fault. Leave them in the comments with a triple. I guess I should just show a triple Q, not say triple Q.
Yeah.
We're new. I'm new here. Okay. It's my first day. That feels weird. That looks like it means something bad. It doesn't. It just means to leave. I don't know. I just feel like that looks bad. Okay. Pin. There we go. Okay. Woohoo. Look at us.
Wow.
Just figuring it out like old people.
I like these lives.
Tinkering away at stuff. I feel like super antsy and on high alert because, as we've stated many a time, hello from Florida, Dana, that we're both
we're dialed in.
We're real deep in the Karen Reed trial. And I really thought that we were going to have a verdict, and we don't yet. And so I feel like it's probably just because of the way that things happen, and Murphy's law, the Murphy's law of it all, if you will, that it's going to happen while we're on the live stream. In fact, I thought about that so much so that I already have it prepared that should that happen, we're just going to pull it up and watch it live together.
Are you serious?
Yes, I have I have the stream for the court.
Okay.
And normally I'm watching various law tubers during that kind of thing. There's a number of them that I watch. And so normally I'd go watch it with one of them, but we're not going to jump off the live if that happens. Okay. So
we're going international. Yeah. We got Belgium, we've got India, we've got Canada, Germany.
Okay. That's phenomenal. I'm going to put up a poll because I genuinely want to know y'all's thoughts. Karen Reed trial.
Ooh.
What I want to, because I'm actually, because I'm gonna give them 3 options, because I want to know if you think that she's guilty, not guilty, or factually innocent.
Or what about hung jury?
I guess that would be 4. Yeah, Karen Reed trial. Opinion. There we go. I spelled it wrong.
Someone is commenting on my hair. They said they love the color and my curls suit me quite well. I don't think they're talking about yours.
Oh, are you? Listen, I'm typing. I can't do sarcasm right now. I'm typing. Karen Reed trial. Okay. Guilty. Sorry. Let me get this up, and then I promise not to be distracted. Guilty, not guilty. Factually innocent. And then did I spell that right? Probably not. And then the other one was
hung jury.
Hung jury.
Except I would lowercase that hung. It looks
hung jury. The jury
like you're
is
taking
hung.
That somewhere you're not intending to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Poland too. Wow.
All right. There we go. Okay. We'll say, thank you for the comments. I've really been trying to I always thought I just had frizzy hair, but I guess I do have some wave. It's not, I have a few actual curls that hide out underneath, but for the most part, it's just like super wavy. But I'm testing different things and figuring it out. Just it's kind of, I don't know, it's just different and fun to not fry my hair constantly with heat products, things that you men will never understand.
I think it looks good. I like it. Curly.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just being nice because there's people here watching?
No, I've commented on it before. It looks good.
Oh, turquoise. So I have a few different turquoise rings. This is actually a cheapo one. This one is either from Walmart or Three Birds Nest Boutique. It's from one of those two places. I do not recall off the top of my head. Now, I do have a really beautiful turquoise ring that I got for Christmas a few years ago. That's from, I can't remember where exactly you found it, but they sell jewelry from Native American tribes who are still, they sell vintage stuff, but also stuff from the tribes that are still making and selling sort of authentic jewelry, if you will. So
and you're pretty particular about the color of turquoise too. If I feel like, if I remember having that conversation. No.
Yeah.
Am I just making that up?
Yeah, I'm particular. Newsflash. Okay, sorry. Let's see. You're on pins and needles. I know. I see a lot of people saying not guilty. I don't know how to. I guess at some point I'll be able to share the poll results. We'll give it some time for people to come in and answer the poll if you want to answer it. Well, that's true. Listen, future. We also need a poll to see how many people who are voting have watched the trial. Good point. If there's one thing that I can tell you is that I've been supremely surprised / depressed by the fact that when I see people weighing in online and stuff, this is why like we don't talk about, we're not like commentators or something. We don't go online and like, here's our opinion. Everybody needs to hear it. But I'm always surprised by people who are like this so vocal about stuff. And then you hear them say things and you're like, you've not actually watched any of this, have you? Like you're unaware of what the facts of the case, like within the courtroom, not outside, like within the courtroom, what the facts of the case are. And also, if you're not American, I give you 100% pass on this. But if you are an American citizen, I'm, again, just utterly shocked by how many people do not understand our own legal system and where the responsibility lies for who has to prove something and who doesn't, and how important it is to hold the government to their required standards for proof. Because it's all fun and games until it's your butt sitting in that seat for something that maybe you did do or you didn't do. We don't know, but like you want, the
bar is high and it's intended to be high.
Right. It's high for a reason and it should be high. So anyways, yeah, it's kind of depressing, I guess, to realize that like, oh man, people just don't realize everyone's happy to like, sort of wield this weapon against somebody that they don't like or they disagree with and never stop to think about like, oh, but they could also, that could be used against me at some point later. The
old forest for the trees.
Yes. Thank you. Well, listen, you definitely have wavy hair and it's this haircut and the color really suits you. There's really no haircut. I can tell you that. I haven't had my hair cut in like well over a year. I've been just doing my own trims at home. So I keep coloring my own hair and doing everything at home. I probably should see a professional at some point in the near future, but
you need to see a professional. Sorry. Therapeutic.
Real funny. You're a wise guy, aren't you? At some point, if we actually decide that we're going to do these lives like very regularly, then we need to get you like your own little setup so we can be double screen instead of like together in the same little box. We're also sharing a microphone right now.
My head is big. It takes up a lot of the screen. So
I will leave that one right where you dropped it. We'll not pick that one up. Okay. Let's see. Yes. This is kind of a long convoluted story. They're coming. They were supposed to get one this past Monday, but due to we'll talk about some of the things that happened this weekend, but it was not able to happen. So they're coming back. I will not lie that I got a little freaked out by the number of people that signed up for those emails.
Oh, really?
Like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, whatever. And then tons of people signed up. And I thought, now I feel a little nervous, uncomfortable, like talking about these very personal, like I know it's important, but I got a little in my own head about it. Like, well, that's kind of weird. Why does so many people want to talk about that or hear me talk about that? And then I started thinking, well, what should I talk about? Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. Maybe it's too personal. Maybe it's too, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Like too invasive. Y'all know I've always tried to keep a pretty firm line between, like, I will share personal details about my life, but not intimate details about my life, things that are not meant for like public consumption. And so I don't know. I just kind of got really in my own head about it. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. So I thought I'm not going to. But then I circled back on it, thought about it some more, and was like, no, I think people are signing up because they really want this and need this space and place. And I went back and read the comments and stuff from people from that video that I sent, and realized that like, it's not, people aren't signing up because I've put something out there that's like weird and I should have thought about, regret kind of a thing. People are signing up because they genuinely want to have these conversations. And so it's kicking back up. So I've not forgotten about you unmentionable ladies. I should give you a better nickname than that.
I like that.
And yes, it's just been Christine, it's been a very, very busy season for us. The boys especially, and the older kids, with 8 kids and their stuff, everything they have going on.
The activities coming out the wazoo.
It's been like a ton of stuff going on. And that was one of the things I was going to talk to y'all about today, was the boys, their first taekwondo competition that they had this past weekend. They went to like a state.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Thing.
It was the Body Armor State Games of North Carolina. Their first taekwondo competition, my first like combat sport, meet. I don't know what you call them, ever. And so I went with the boys and was on a mission to kind of information gather to determine moving forward, is it appropriate for us to bring all 6 other kids?
Yeah.
And can we make it a family affair? And I think it was long. We got there at 8:00 in the morning and we didn't get home until 9:00 at night. So it was literally all day. There was arm wrestling competitions going on, strongest man competition.
I asked him, I was
wrestling.
like, is there slap fighting? There was
no slap fighting.
There's no slap fighting.
Karate, taekwondo, just a whole barrage of different types of competitions going on. But to make a long story short, the boys did awesome. I mean, they've been going to taekwondo for a couple of years now. They both really enjoy it. It's a great activity for them specifically. They won all of their sparring matches. They both got like medals and stuff. And it was just so good for them because they put in a lot of hard work, and it was nice to watch them get the fruits of their labor. Yeah. So I was really, really proud dad moment. It was nice. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was joking about like raising winners. We give 100% of the credit. Like CR said, the boys both took first for like, they won their sparring matches. Jonah took first and Noah took second for, what's it called? I can never remember the name.
Which is like a demonstration of technique.
Right.
Apparently.
So it's like where they do their, I call it the Mr. Miyagi, where they do their wax. So they go and like stand up and do their little, routine. I call it like a little routine. It's much more involved with that.
Like a series of moves, if you will.
Yeah. And so it's a demonstration sort of their moves, techniques. I don't know. Okay. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. So Jonah got first and Noah got second for that as well. And we didn't realize when we moved here and signed them up for this taekwondo studio, we just really liked the instructor, teacher, owner.
Yeah.
And it's a man and a woman. They're not husband and wife.
He was actually her coach. She's about 15 years younger than he is, but she's an Olympian. He's a grandmaster, has traveled all over the world.
He's scared. I've told you guys this. He scared the crap out of me.
He's 80 years old. Or I'm sorry, he's 70 years old. He looks 50.
If that. I mean, if that. If I showed you a picture of him.
And just the fact that I call him grandmaster is like, that's pretty awesome.
Like that.
Like there's a level of respect that comes
along. I know. I'm trying to avoid making dirty, inappropriate comments.
He's earned them.
Anyways, so what I distracted myself with
we found the studio.
We found the studio, and we didn't know that they were as good.
They have a reputation that branches out literally all over the world. And again, this is a brand new world for us. Like I never did any type of combat sport, karate or taekwondo or jiu-jitsu or anything like that. So no idea what to expect. Had no idea like what the expectations should be for them. It was just kind of an activity at first. And now it's turned into not just an activity, but a tool to build life skills. Discipline, respect, and it's been really beneficial for them. And again, all the credit goes to them and their coaches, who are just awesome. So that was fun. And then,
so that was the thing, was that like, sorry, I'm trying to post in the comments. That was the thing, was that we just didn't know. And so when the boys have been going there for 3 years, getting that, moving up with their belts and all of that kind of stuff. And then they said, hey, you're ready to come do competitions. And, a lot of times with kids things where there's like competition teams and stuff, not all, but a lot of it is like a money grab for the place. For sure. So they don't wait till your kid is ready or good enough or whatever. It's just, they want you to join the competition team, the travel team, the whatever team, because they just make a lot more money off of you when you do those things. So because the boys, I don't, what do I know? I know nothing about combat sports. So I don't know. I know that they are getting better when they fight each other at home. I mean, I don't know. So when they asked them to join the team, I was like, okay, well, I figured this was just like somebody else trying to drain my pockets. And so when CR called me from the competition, and he was like, this is serious business. And like the respect that the studio has. And then when he's telling me that the boys are winning, I'm like, are they good? Like, are they any good?
We had no idea.
And we didn't know either. And that was kind of what we found out after, was that like the studio takes it very seriously, and in their mind, they train winners. And so they don't ask you to come to the competitions until you can come and win. And one of our children was very close to not winning their sparring match. And we can call her Miss Yolanda. Nobody's going to necessarily know who that is, but Miss Yolanda, who's the female instructor, told him after, she was like, that's the closest I've come to one of my kids not winning. Like she was stressing about it because they're just so used to the kids winning, but they don't put that on the kids, right? So our boys didn't go into it with this pressure that they had to win. They just don't ask them to start competing until they know that they're capable of it, till they know that they're good enough. And so I think even the boys came home. Noah came home with his medals around his neck and just
peacocking it a little bit,
strutting through the door. And
jiggling as he comes.
I was sending videos and pictures to my parents, and my dad was like, you better expand that front doorway if you want their heads to get through when they get home. And I'm like, oh boy, they were so full of themselves. But also you could tell that they were genuinely like, oh, I'm actually good at this. Like they didn't know either, because the coaches don't they're nobody's kissing their butts and nobody's being like, you're amazing, you're the best, you're so great. They just train them to keep doing better, and because they spar with the best, when they got to the competition, they didn't even realize that they were very good compared to their peers from other studios, because they're at their studio, they're getting their butts kicked on the reg by kids who are equally as good, if not better. I still remember Jonah coming home after sparring with a girl at the taekwondo she was a few years older than him, and she kicked his butt. And he was, I think, a little upset by that. He didn't I mean, I don't know why he's upset. I can still beat him in an arm wrestling competition. So they always want to the day comes when because it'll be a long time before they can beat their dad. But they're still at that cusp. They haven't hit that, because they're 10 and 12. So they haven't hit the puberty yet where they'll be able to just trample over me. I can still win, right? I'm still stronger. That day is very, very short lived. So
it was cool too. So the Summer Olympics are coming up. I feel like, is it this year? 2024.
You're asking the wrong person.
They're in Paris.
Oh yeah.
Taekwondo is an Olympic sport. So they had the 4 Olympians that are going to represent the United States at this competition as well. And sure as heck, our instructors roll up there and they know like all the Olympic judges and this team and the coaches that coach them. I'm just like, who are these guys? Like, had no idea. So yeah, it's been a very fulfilling process over the last several years, just as a parent watching them. So it's been awesome.
Okay. I also have to tell you guys, we're going to bounce back and forth between a few different things. The other thing, a sad story that it's sad because it was like, it's just it fits into the category of like when you live on a farm, homestead-ish, or even just not in a neighborhood, the things that happen on a daily basis, weekly basis, that you're just like, I didn't have that on my bingo card. Okay. And what I didn't have on my bingo card this week was dead Bambi in the yard. It was early in the morning, like 6:37. Noah was up, which he's usually not up that early. I was coming out here to the cabin actually, and he had gone running around with Douglas. Him and Douglas like to run the, outside stuff. And he'd gone out with Douglas, and I guess Douglas went right to it, but they came back up to like towards the house, and he was like, Mom, there's a deer in the pasture. And I'm like, what? A deer? What? And so I look, and right in the middle of our big flat pasture up here at the top, there is a sleeping. I've already said dead, so YouTube's probably demonetized this. There's a permanently sleeping, little Bambi. I mean, it wasn't like newborn, but it still had completely spot covered. It was, I have a video of it, but it was probably like, I don't know, this big maybe. And it's one of its, I call it its butt cheek. Its back butt cheek was chewed off. Now, I want to be very clear here in case anybody's thinking that are evil. Horses don't eat. The horses didn't do that. What I think happened is that fox or coyote chased it into the pasture, probably got it down there and started to eat it, and the horses would have run off the fox or coyote. There's a mare in that pasture, and she is mean. Mares can be real mean, and especially if they sense a predator like that. And my guess is that the coyote, fox, whatever, is why it only got started on the deer and not completed or anywhere close, right?
Yeah, so it was in a fenced in pasture. So I don't think the coyote got it in the pasture. We have a portion of our property that has some woods, and we also have a lot of deer and stuff that kind of wander through the lower side. So I think the coyote got it somewhere outside of the pasture. The deer then escaped and then was able to get into the pasture. I don't know if the coyote got in there or not.
I think the coyote got in there.
It could be. It's all speculation.
Because that deer was missing its whole hind quarter. I don't know that it could have run and escaped in that condition.
Who knows?
Anyways, it was very sad
yeah.
though. It was sad, and just kind of one of those things that I'm like standing there with my cup of coffee over this little baby Bambi, and I'm like, oh, God, I just didn't have this on my bingo card. And I think it's funny when I look back at Angie from like 2 or 3 years ago, and I think about when we first moved here, I 100% would have been crying. 3 years ago, I would have been crying. And it's not that I don't care now. I do, obviously. Like, it was like, oh, this poor baby. But I also, I guess, have just seen so much that I'm like, well, I mean, it's this, don't make me start singing. The circle of life. Okay. It's the circle of life. Okay. It's just the circle of life. So, yeah, it's not that it wasn't like sad to me, because it was, but again, it was just like one of those things that I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, July 26th. Okay, this is what, oh, did I skip a question? I did. I put that question up.
Something about the age of the
ADD
kids.
is so bad. There was something about the age of the kids, and then
17, 15, 12, 12, 6, 6, 4. I think that's all of them.
You skipped Jonah.
10.
I was like, dang, Sierra, you're doing good. And then you skipped a whole child. Yeah, 17, 15, 12, 12, 10, 6, 6, 4.
There we go.
But in July, if y'all recall, July is the birthday, is the birthday month. It's a big birthday month, y'all. Huge. It's a big birthday month because the twins will be turning 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then Rosie turns, well, then I turn 40. And Rosie turns 13.
That is crazy.
That
is wild to me. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because I think a lot of y'all have been around since Rosie came home. And so
many before that, I think.
Yeah, not many. No, okay. Because I was doing videos here and there. It wasn't really till after that we started doing more content.
Like blog stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I think most people would be like around the time Rosie came home, maybe some from before, but mostly I think from after that. But I still vividly remember celebrating her 5th birthday, having a joint party with Eloise. Eloise was turning 6.
I remember that.
Rosie was turning 5. And we had this party. And it's crazy to me that she is now turning 13.
A teenager.
It's just
that's crazy.
And anyways, so yeah, I mean, yeah, yes, Alexis, yes, I'd love a full bake with me for all your fancy. See, I'm like, do people want to watch that kind of stuff? That's always the thing.
It's wild. That I watch it every time you do it. It'd be awesome.
Cake baking?
Oh yeah. It's an intense process. Like watching you whip the thing. I'm not. I'm saying like the piping and how you do it. It's like self-taught. Very impressive.
There's a lot of hand motions there that were questionable. Milking. The milk nipples. You can milk anything that has nipples, Greg.
Dude, your notes down here are so.
Just don't look at my notes.
ADHD brain.
It's because
so fascinating to me.
Because we will rabbit trail hard if I don't have any kind of notes. Okay, well, maybe Alexis, especially because I'm going to be making a butt ton of cakes in July, because the twins have requested their own cakes, different cakes. I've always made them a cake together, and they've. But now that they've requested different things, they love each other. They play together really well, but they're very different people, and so they have very different requests for their cakes. So I have always said I will be that twin mom that will like dress them alike and do the things until they request something different, until they're old enough to request something different, and now they have. So Bella, the twins are going to be 7. So yeah, I don't even know what to make of all of that. All of that is crazy. All of that is crazy. Okay, Michelle says she'd watch cake videos. You know, I think probably I should just do the damn cake videos, because it's like YouTube these days. This is like
you've done like 700 different things. Add baking a cake into it.
I know, but the thing is like I have this whole thing of like rage against the algorithm because it makes me so mad, because I have figured out something that other people figured out long before me, but something that I figured out, much to my chagrin, something that makes me not happy, which is just that right now, the way that content works, because it's just exploded over the last few years with TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts and everything. What all of these platforms want is whatever works, like whatever the audience watches, that some more of that same thing.
And if you can't tell, my lovely wife here is she's tough to squeeze in a box. Right. That's why we all love her. It's just that she's such a Renaissance woman.
Like, I don't want to make the same I don't want to make the same things over and over again. Nobody is like that, just one-sided, one-minded. We all have
multifaceted.
I'm not special. We all have varied interests. We all are more than just this one thing. And that's what I hate about the way that the algorithm works, is it just wants you to take this one thing and ride it till it's dead. And I just can't, I don't want to do that. And I see other people doing it, and their videos do really well, their channels grow, their Instagram grows, all of that. And I'm just like, I'll just stay small. That's fine. I don't care. I'll just stay. I would rather have 5 people here watching who like are also like, hey, I don't want to watch the same thing over and over and over again, in terms of like, I don't want to watch this exact same type of content with a just slightly different spin on it every single day. So I'd rather have 5 of those people that are like actually a part of a community, rather than just ride the algorithm like a wave to try to catch everybody who might possibly be interested in this one very narrow topic.
And more importantly,
it's boring.
Like I was about to say, you got to like what you do.
I know.
And like what you make. If it's making cakes, rock and roll. By the way, that'd be a good band name, Rage Against the Algorithm.
I think you're thinking of Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, indeed.
But yeah, Rage Against the Algorithm. Ruth, I'm turning 42. I'm feeling a lot of changes, but the most alarming one is that I'm losing a lot of hair suddenly. I'll be bald soon. Any homemade remedies or products that worked for you? There's a lot of things that you can do. We've been using some supplements and stuff, but I will say that one of the, like, I can give you product ideas, okay, but none of the product ideas are all that affordable. What I will say is that a micro needler and who I believe it's castor oil. So a micro needler and castor oil. Micro needle your scalp and put castor oil on it.
Ginseng and biotin.
Yeah, don't listen to him. He takes weird supplements all the time. Every day takes weird stuff. I'm like, what are you taking now? Because you're being weird. Like, I'm like, are we taking too much testosterone? We're getting a little sassy, getting a little angry for no reason. Okay. Got a little of the tea going, huh?
It's working, I think.
Well,
maybe a little bit.
Half of what's grown his hair back is not wearing a hat.
That's true. God, this chair.
You guys, I have to tell them something. Sometimes he would go to sleep in our bed with a hat on.
That was a beanie.
Not just a beanie. I've seen you get in bed and fall asleep with a baseball cap on.
That's true.
So, okay, this is the perfect segue. We're going to talk about Tuah for a second. This comment's the perfect segue.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's good. Okay.
You still have the llamas?
Right.
Yeah, we do. And the last few days, you guys know, I don't consume a lot of social media, okay? I just don't. I don't, for reasons I've already explained. But I did start seeing this whole Tuah thing. And so the first few times I was like, kind of laughed or whatever. And then my immediate thought was like, the llamas. Just how I'm like, the llamas could show these people a thing or two about Tuah. Okay, I really don't. Let me be very clear. It's not like I have like a whole lot to say about this, other than I had 2 initial thoughts: llamas and that girl's poor mother. That
father.
Sure, but because she had a very thick Southern accent. To me, she looked like this is going to sound very like stereotyping of me, but she looked like a very typical Southern little good girl who probably goes to church every Sunday with her family. And like, I just thought, like, with mothers, we spend our whole lives, we invest everything into these children. At times we give up hobbies. We make sacrifices upon sacrifices for these children. We read them stories. We buy them pretty dresses. We have tea parties and we do all of these things. And then you open your phone and there's your precious baby girl, and she's going and spit on that thing, and you're like, oh my God,
you are now in.
What happened?
You are now living in internet infamy.
I want to say,
like, that is the summation of your life forever.
And so I also want to make another comment. Well, do I want to make this comment, or do I not want to make this comment? The Huck Tuah girl is not wrong. Okay. Her information is accurate, but that is not the format in which you should be sharing that information. Do you know what I'm saying? That information belongs in Unmentionable Mondays. Sign up right now. I'm just kidding.
Well done. Like, golf clap.
Did you see my
all the way back
segment?
Around from llamas? Well done.
But seriously, like, not that's not necessarily what we talk about in Unmentionable Mondays, but it's like, I just think it's funny because where you've seen that, like,
subject line,
where you've seen this video like go viral, read the comments, especially when it's not shared by like a young
there's factions. We talked a little bit about that. Like, there's two audiences, if you will, that are just like, oh, pearl clutching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I want to be clear here that the pearl clutching the pearls I'm clutching are based on the fact that this is a young girl saying this
the internet is forever.
to a camera. Like, I think this is the thing, is that I'm like, oh man, you'd think like she's too young, I guess, to understand. At least I think too young to understand how the impact of, even if she's joking, you know what I mean? Even if she's just being funny. And I think I feel for her because I'm the kind of person who says off-color things to get a laugh. It's always been a part of my sense of humor. And people love it or they hate it. And I get that. We're not here to debate that. I can have a crass sense of humor at times. I do find sometimes raunchy things kind of funny. It's just part of my sense of humor. And I like to say unexpected things, especially in person, not online. You're most of the time not online. You won't see that much. But I always like to tease my dad that he never had a son, and he tried to like wrestle and stuff and like make me the boy he never had. And now he got it because I make him like blush. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. Where I'm like, I can outgross you out. But anyways, there was something I was going to say about that. So Tori says, well, she's made $65,000 in merch sales since the video. I saw some stuff about that. I've gotten with AI and all of that stuff. I have no idea if she's actually making like what she's done. I've seen various things about she got fired from her job because of this, because people were saying that she worked in a preschool or a school or something like that, and her students were talking about it, and she got fired. So that's more for me, is like the actual real world implications of the choices that we make online. I do think that people do not think that stuff through until it happens to you. Getting Susie. I love it when I get Susie accidentally, but they don't, you don't. Yeah. I think, again, I'm not sure if she was sober or not. Another reason why I probably just shouldn't drink at all. But I don't know. Like, on one hand, I feel sorry for her because I'm like, oh man, I just don't know that she was probably had a little bit too much to drink, thought she was being funny, making, jokes or whatever. And then it ends up like this. And and again, sure, she might make some money from merch and stuff, but I don't know. I guess in this twisted world, it could skyrocket her to some kind of fame.
You know who it reminded
She'll probably
me of?
end up with like a podcast or something like that on Barstool Sports.
Here's who it reminded me of. Do you remember a couple years ago or last year, there was that lady who went like kind of crazy on the airplane?
Oh yeah, who said she was? I never watched it, but I just remember the airplane lady.
It's kind of the same phenomenon, if you will.
Yeah. I know you've been watching EDB. Oh yes, I love EDB, and we talked about that. I think on the last live we talked about that. That I've got my parents watching her. He watches her sometimes. Yeah. I do switch sometimes. There's
Emily D. Baker.
Yeah, there's a few different ones. LawTube, Emily D. Baker. There's a few different ones that I mix it up with and watch, depending on what I'm looking to learn or get out of the stream. Sorry, my phone just rang, and so it's talking to my ear. No, I'm sorry. I cannot answer the phone right now. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I got distracted. Why are you on your phone? We're on a live stream.
Looking for verdicts. Sorry. Checking for verdicts.
I will get a notification if there
what are you, the 12th juror over here?
I think it's
getting called into court.
I think aren't there 12 jurors? Isn't it the 13th? The 13th juror?
Maybe. Yeah. You're probably right.
I mean, it depends. Some juries only have 6 jurors, not 13 or 12, but whatever. I think oh my Lord.
Yes.
I can only imagine what that interview would be like. I got promoted a video on Instagram. There are 2 young men with Down syndrome. They're friends. One of them is of Asian descent, and I think the other is of a Hispanic descent, and they're like best friends, and they do like this show type thing on Instagram, and they like cook and do different things. It's hilarious. They are so funny. And I think so then Instagram started promoting a clip of where Theo went on their show and it was hilarious.
He's genuine. He's genuinely funny, and he's genuine. That's why I like Theo. And Vickles, like many years ago, before he became, I think, at the level he's at right now. Watched a video of him and his Vickles. It was hilarious.
I'm sorry, Ruth has cracked me up. So it's actually Kennedy's, the dog that Kennedy has trained, not Shelby. I just feel like I have to make that correction so that they don't yell at me later. I just love that you called her Footstool. Yes, Footstool has found a home. If you're somebody who's emailed, I'm working on getting back through emails. There will potentially be another dog behind Footstool who will be Kennedy's going to be training and then looking for a home for. So if you were interested in Footstool, she has found her forever family. And I just have to tell you that, like, I had posted about her on Instagram and stuff, and you know, I was just kind of like, I was worried a little bit about posting on YouTube about her, but I just thought, like, these are my people. The right family is in this crew here, this group, this family here on YouTube. The right family for her is there. And so I just like, oh, bite my tongue and do it, you know? So I did it. And I got a number of emails of families that would have been wonderful, but obviously, you know, spoke with and talked with a couple, but the family that she's going to, they're very much like us. So I think it'll be a really good transition for her because she's been here with us for a couple of months now. So I think it's just going to be a really great fit. So we're actually taking her this weekend. Kennedy and I are going to go on a little road trip, and we're going to take Sailor is her name. But yes, I lovingly call her Footstool. But we're going to be taking her to her new family this weekend.
Someone said, will the next dog be called Ottoman?
That's such a great idea, Alicia. No, probably not. I mean, to be fair, I gave her the nickname Footstool because she looks, when she would run and the way her hair, her fur was, she looked like the Footstool from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. That
I later learned that dog. Remember in Beauty and the Beast, the dog, the family dog, gets turned into a footstool when everyone gets turned into an object. And so that dog's name was Sultan. But I was like, she's not a sultan, so I'm going to stick with footstool. Because that's what she looked like to me, is in that movie when that dog runs, when the footstool runs.
The tassels. Just
yeah, like the tassels and stuff. I don't know. The older girls, none of our other kids have any kind of access to YouTube to watch our videos, except for the older two girls. And they do sometimes. And that's why you see them a little bit more in content and stuff as of late, is because they don't they're okay. Like, they watch some of the videos and they don't mind being in videos. So yeah, that's they do watch sometimes. So Tori, she's training. She doesn't know exactly what she wants to do, like forever. Right now, she's just been helping people with their pet dogs, and doing that kind of basic training. But honestly, I consider it a lot, because we've had dogs that go to training and stuff like that before. I would argue it's much more than basic training, but I don't know that she feels comfortable yet training to the service level or therapy level. Those are incredibly specialized dogs, particularly when you service dog is one thing, but when you pass that into like therapy level dog, those are dogs that can like notify you as a parent if your kid is diabetic and their blood sugar changes. The dog can alert you. So there are some very, very specialized type therapy dogs and stuff. Listen, if I had my druthers, I've been trying to convince Kennedy and Shelby to let's go to, like, there's a college here, a university in North Carolina that we could go get trained to train cadaver dogs to go out to like.
What was this?
But they're like, well, doesn't that mean that we might like come across a dead body?
Let's think
and I'm
this
like,
one through a little bit.
I'm like, well, yeah, that's the point, is like looking for remains and stuff. And they're like, no. And I'm like, I love it, right? I love it, because I'm like, you get to help in this thing. And also,
too.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Equisearch that goes out horseback to search. I'm like, I would love to do stuff like that. I would love to be able to like contribute in that way, like combining things that like you love, like horseback riding or dog training, with something that allows you to help in people's most desperate times and their most like, imagine if you had a loved one that was missing, because sometimes it is like kids with special needs that have wandered away from home and their parents can't find them. It's not that you're out there looking for somebody who may have been unalived. It's that you're a child or something is potentially lost and you're trying to help find them. So it's not as macabre and dark as you think. It's just something I think is really cool.
That's the second time you've used that word.
My favorite movie. What did I miss? Did I say something about a movie?
No.
Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's what we're referencing. Sorry. When I go back for a second into the comments, I'm like, CR, how do you know when it's the right time to become a parent?
My eyes are getting bad.
Oh.
From
cool.
Portugal. Hi from Portugal. If I use some of your videos. Oh, that's sweet. When is the right time to become a parent? Gosh,
I'm so curious how you'd answer.
Okay,
this.
So just truthfully, I mean, there's never you're never ready, even when you think you're ready. I would argue, you may plan, but things always change. You may, I mean, you're never ready. You're never ready.
That sounds really promising.
I mean, we've got friends. Well, I mean, that's just real. Like, we have friends that we went to high school with that didn't have their first child until they were 30, 35. And it's all new. I mean, you're responsible for another human being, regardless of how many YouTube videos you watch or all the baby gadgets and things that you think you need. You're still staring down at a newborn, breathing baby, and you are scared that anything is ever going to happen to this. There's no way to accurately and honestly recreate that emotion or that fear or that joy until you live it. So
Yes.
you can do your best to plan and prepare, but just know there's no way to kind of fully come to a place where you think you are ready to go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I hope that answered your question. If there's something more specific, ask it. Like,
no, I would just,
but
the only thing I would add to that is right time. I just think, like CR said, there's rarely a right time. There are wrong times.
There you go.
But there's rarely a right time. So meaning unless there are major red flags in your life, like you're out of a job, you're homeless, you're like that, those are wrong times if you can help it, right? But otherwise, there's rarely a right time. And I'm going to say the thing that nobody likes to admit or say, but I think if people thought about it long enough, they would probably agree with me, which is that the less time you have to get set in your ways and be selfish, and the better. Like, I think the idea that you're too young to have kids, you don't know. I actually think that the most miserable people I know are the most miserable people in parenting, who seem to have the most discontent with being a parent, with raising kids, are the people who lived so much life long before they ever had kids, that by the time they had kids, the vast chasm between what their life was like before and what their life is like after is so deep and wide that they feel almost like slighted by it.
Interesting.
And so I think there's some level of like, when you're young and dumb and broke, like, is actually not the worst time. And by young and dumb and broke, I just mean like, you don't have to say, well, I'm going to wait till I'm 35, or I'm not saying like, go have a baby as a teenager is not like plan A. I'm just saying that the idea that you're not old enough, if you are somebody who gets married in your 20s and your early 20s, like, oh, you should wait and you should live a lot of life first. I don't know that that's actually the best advice in terms of, I just think that you get really set in your ways, and it's not that you're a bad person or anything like that. It's just very hard to break out of what you've always known. We're such creatures of habit. That's why, like, I feel like I've talked about this a lot in multiple videos and content lately, but like the idea of like the hedonic treadmill and your happiness, the things that would have been great to you and made you happy become higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, because you just get used to it. You just get used to things. And so if you get used to a life that is like whatever all the time, and I'm just sleeping in and doing whatever I want, and then this kid comes along, it can be earth shaking for people if they're not at least aware of it, prepared for it.
Yeah, parenting is 100% sacrificial, right? Like, you're sacrificing, you're setting your needs and your wants aside for the betterment of your children, ideally. I think the further into maybe a career or a lifestyle that you enjoy and you love, and then you interject a child, letting go of the things that you've grown to love over a life, that burden becomes larger, I think. And maybe that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and then maybe you inadvertently shift some of that blame onto your kids. And you start and you resent a little bit.
I'm sure there's a doctor out there that has
I'm sure there is.
Tackled that topic.
Are you planting stuff? Heck yeah, I got a lot of stuff planted. Now, we've had it's like my brain goes, I was going to say we've had a heat wave, and then my brain immediately went to Muppet Christmas Carol. Heat wave, this is my island in the sun.
This is what I deal with. 24 hours a day. Just one word is all it takes. And then next thing you know, we're on Muppet Christmas Carols. It's really a talent.
I'm sorry, not sorry. Okay. Yes, I'm planting stuff, but we have had a major heat wave, which has made all of my precious plants look very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
We're going to go on like I think by July 8th, it'll be the third consecutive week of upper 90s with no rain. And we don't have a sprinkler system irrigating pastures and like
it's a little rough
up here. So
it's a little rough.
This chair, by the way, is listen, this is not for a short king.
It's a
Let's just put it that way.
a drafting chair. It's meant for a stand. It's meant to go in front of like a desk that's taller or with that you're sitting in front of, you know, like a drafting table when you're like drafting plans.
No. Do you see my feet right now? They're 1 inch off the ground and it's absolutely driving me nuts.
But you have that's it has a circle around the bottom for you to put your feet on.
But then my knees hit the desk. This is a catch-22 over here. Like this is why whenever we buy a house, one of the first things I do is I go to the master bedroom. I find the bathroom. I sit on the toilet.
I like how you say whenever we buy a house, like we do it all the time.
And these were the
done
first things
it twice in
if my
18
feet do
years.
not touch the ground on that toilet, it is being replaced.
First of all, you just spit on me.
Sorry, I'm very passionate about this topic.
Second of all, you know you can change the toilet.
That's what I just said.
So we wouldn't buy a particular house because the toilet was too high or
Not
low.
interested. No.
For my tiny elf
that
king?
seller better make some accommodations. I want credits. I want a new toilet in the master bath. Make it happen.
Oh my god. Okay. Alicia, there's boy, this is too much for this current live stream that we're in to like get in the weeds of all of this stuff. It's moving but slower than I would like for a number of reasons, some of which have to just do with like regulations, governmental things,
let's just call them logistics.
Thank you. Logistics that are some of which are out of our control. So it's not moving along how I'd like. I can tell you that. That's all I can say about that. You seem to have a cohesive color palette in your style. Do you mean my personal style or my home style? Is this intentional? Are there colors you wouldn't wear? If I just finished reading, I'd know. Boy, I feel like you right now.
I knew you were going to take it there. I absolutely knew you were going to go there.
Which one of us tends?
Oh, me. I'll own it.
To.
Yeah, I don't finish.
You don't let me.
I don't let you finish. Yeah.
So. Okay.
Let's talk about my manly standing.
No, I'm answering her question, Lisa.
Your color palette.
Is it Lisa? Liza.
I told you look like Cleopatra.
That's not the question.
It is style.
Anyways,
golds,
so are there colors you don't or wouldn't wear? I see those people do all of this. This is like a big thing right now on. I'm not on but like on Instagram or whatever, where people they do the color analysis, where they put the different colors up under your face, and then don't you touch my mouse? You do not have permission. You do not have permission. When he doesn't care about the topic, he's like, let's move on.
I need to keep scrolling.
No, you don't. You need to sit still and listen.
Well, okay. Let's
let me finish.
I am.
Let me finish because all the ladies here, I bet you we're like 90% ladies here. Okay. All the ladies here, they know about this because you've seen it.
Where my fellas at?
Shorts. They're not in here. You're the only fella in here.
All right.
I'm going to stop. Okay. So they do the thing. I cannot see what they see. When people are like, oh, that doesn't look good. Or you're so obviously warm autumn. And I'm like, I don't know. I just wear what I like. Okay. This is my point, is that I've kind of determined that like, there's only one rule for fashion. And that's that you love it. That's it. If you love it, it's a confidence thing. It's about you love it and you feel good in it. Go on with your bad self. I've said this for 10, like not this whole thing, but like for 10 years, I love like hats. I will wear cowboy hats. Over the years, various types of hats have come in and out. I've worn all kinds of hats. I've had so many of my girlfriends and stuff, my sister, be like, I don't know, like I feel like I just look dumb when I wear a hat, or I would. You have to just love it and be confident in it. And I think that sort of changes things, like, I don't know. To me, there's not a lot of rules. So like I have reddish colored hair, and technically you're not supposed to wear pink if you have like reddish colored hair. A lot of style experts will say like you don't wear pink. I still wear pink sometimes, not a lot, because it's not a me color. It's not because I think it looks bad on me. It's just because I'm not really a pink kind of gal. To my 2 shades of blush and bashful.
There we go.
I've chosen 2 shades of pink. One is much deeper than the other.
Get it all out. There you go.
I really, one of these days, I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can get through an entire day in only movie quotes. My little sister.
Definitely possible. I thought you were going to say not
quote a movie. That would never happen.
That's a hard.
My little sister was visiting from Texas. She's at Baylor doing her PhD. Smarty pants. And so we were in the car, like going to lunch. It was both of my sisters and my mom and I was just, with my movie quotes. And even my little sister was like, good Lord.
It's a talent. I tell you what.
It's just really how my brain, it's like a little synapse fires. And it's like, you say this word and my brain goes here. Yeah. You say this and then it goes here. I can't help it. Poor CR, but you have to deal with her
every day, y'all.
Listen.
But it's fun.
Don't make me get inappropriate. Don't make me get inappropriate on here. Is that
I feel bad because literally 90% of the time, I don't know the movie you're quoting.
Neither do most of my friends.
Because I'm really bad at like actors and movies and stuff like that. And so you take it to a place that few have ever been.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. Any tips for first-time parents? Oh, it's 3:30. I see the court fan, but I bet you that they're just excusing the jury.
Where are you looking right now?
Right there. Court fan, but I bet you they're just excusing the jury. I just want to say this one thing, Tori, just to answer this other question that she asked. Any tips for first-time parents or parents to be? Yeah. Don't do what feels right to you, like in your gut. You have instincts for a reason. Listen to them. That's it. Because lots of people are going to want to give you a lot of advice and tell you what worked for them and how to do something. You can never hold your baby too much. You can never love on that baby too much. There's no such thing. You're not spoiling the baby. You don't have to put the baby down. You can hold the baby all you want and do what feels right to you in your gut in those early years. If it feels like I don't like this, it hurts my heart, I can't do, then don't. Especially in the early years.
That was good.
That's what I would say. I've not had a lot of Indian food. So I have been to a few restaurants and stuff for Indian food, especially with some of my coworkers back in my professional working gal days. A lot of my coworkers, I've just not had a lot of it. But what I have had, I've liked. So I don't even want to say, because I feel like I've made a few Indian dishes, but nothing that I would write home about. I think it's one of those things that there's a lot of ways for us to screw it up, and not make it taste like the real thing. So it's what I found. As in my travels, I have tried many a delicious thing. I've brought home spices from Uganda. There was foods I had in Uganda that I'm like, oh my, I've never even had this flavor palette, like this flavor profile before in my life. It's amazing. And I can't figure out how to replicate it. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm too white. But it's hard sometimes, especially if you don't have somebody like in your family or whatever to like teach you the ways, Okay. Sorry. My mouse is like going slow on me here. Let's see. Okay. Oh, she just said they got rain in Georgia. That's nice.
Send it our way.
Yeah, I got to the bottom of my allergies. I have to take an allergy pill every single day. That's basically how I got to the bottom of my allergies. It really is just a severe allergic. That my allergies are just built over the years, I guess. But okay, Kylie, I hope that's how you say your name. I was running in Arizona last week. First of all, what were you thinking? Running in Arizona. I'm surprised you haven't melted into the pavement. Direct afternoon sun, 111 degrees. Why?
That's
and fully believed I was photosynthesizing in the moment. We went to Arizona one time for a work trip that he won back when he used to work at the bank. And we went to see Red Rocks and all that, but I don't know if you remember
Sedona and the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah. So when we got out of the car at the like resort and you're on like the asphalt, the parking lot.
Yeah, that was just Phoenix.
It's like nothing. It's oppressive. It's
oppressive.
I've never experienced heat like that ever. And I'm like, I complain a lot about the heat combined with the humidity because it is misery. You can step outside and just sweat just dripping from your neck and head and boobs and butt crack. Okay. So I don't know how. So I just have a lot of questions about why you were running with someone chasing you, because that's the only reason that you should be running in Arizona in the afternoon. Unless you were like, I don't know, did you have some kind of competition you had to weigh in? So you're trying to drop some LBs beforehand? Like, there's only a few reasons I can think of is like, I have to weigh in, I got to drop 5 pounds, or someone's chasing me.
That's wild.
That's about all I can justify. Simply enjoying life. We're so happy that you're here. I know I feel like probably the best thing is to just have a standard like standing live date. I think it'll make it a lot easier for those of you who want to catch lives and are like, I can never catch a live because we're like, we should do a live today. Okay. You know, we're not planners, but I understand that other people are. I'm gonna just answer her real quick. You'll never regret the kids that you have, just the ones that you don't. Okay, so I would highly recommend it, but I don't know anything else about your life other than what you just said. So take that for what it's worth. I'm out here just like, have a baby, everybody, dishing out advice to people. Just send in your questions. I'll tell you what to do. Ask Angie. Advice
More
column.
babies.
Advice column. If you had another baby,
the replacement rate is struggling here in the States. So get on that.
Yeah. And in fact, everybody here in this live right now, go have a baby. I have no idea because I've just not thought about that kind of stuff for a really, really long time. I don't know. Mostly I just name my animals, like the new chickens that we got. Because, we got Tina and the Chanterelles. So Tina's the Polish, and then the other she's the tan Polish, then the black and tan Polish are the Chanterelles. So with the Americanas that we got, again, they're a little hard to tell apart, but there's one that stands out. So they are Gladys and the Pips. So we've got Tina and the Chanterelles and Gladys and the Pips. That's the easiest way for me to name the chickens. Now, if we ever have to like take one to the vet, they're like, what's that one's name?
Pip. They're all Pip.
I knew there was a reasonable explanation. Well, reasonable to some. But yes, when you're training for something like a marathon, there are no days off. I hope that marathon is not taking place in Arizona. That's all I can say.
That is incredible.
Okay. She says, now, Misery, I've never seen that movie. There are some movies that you won't hear me quote that maybe other people would, because I've never seen them. Despite my discussing of true crime and things, I don't
like scary movies.
I don't like scary movies. Horror. I don't like things that are
torture, horror,
gratuitously scary and whatever. I think that's why I kind of lean towards the true, because it's a true story, and I don't listen to the ones that are gratuitously like gross for or in whatever. I just like, I want to hear the story. I want to understand what's happening, whatever. But I don't do scary movies. And I think that's also part of like, I like listening to podcasts and stuff because I don't have to, I can do whatever I want in my mind with the visualization.
Proceed. With
the visualization versus a documentary or a TV show where they do it for you. And I don't like that.
I just see you like this. Forcing you.
Okay, Alexis, don't bother spending too much time thinking about CR in a full suit because he never, him working at the bank was more of like a polo shirt.
I was only customer facing for the first like 5 or 6 years.
And even then,
longer.
you didn't wear.
No,
you
we
wore
didn't have
polos.
to wear a suit.
Mhm.
I had to wear a tie for a while. But then when I got in kind of the back end stuff and then into management, I set the dress code.
There's a question for
a while
you
there.
here.
Oh, hell yeah. I still look for Subarus all the time. And we had a conversation the other day because we don't have a Whole Foods in the town we live in, but we have a store that's close to it. What's that place called?
Fresh Market.
Fresh Market. The theory
It's
checks
amazing.
out. The theory checks out. If the more granola your grocery store sells, the more Subarus you will see in the parking lot. You can take it to the bank. And it's always an Outback or a Forester. You don't ever see. There's two. I need to go into a little bit here. Okay. There's two kinds of Subaru owners. You have the Forester and Outback crowd. Okay. That has a very specific demographic. Okay.
If you guys cancel him over this, leave me out of it. I had nothing to do with it.
Cancel me.
Because I hear the words coming out of your mouth.
Yes. And then so that's audience number one. And then audience number two is the WRX like rally car, completely different style.
I don't even know
Subaru
what that is.
Owner. You do if I had shown it to you. But
you'd know it. It's like you'd know it if you see it.
Yeah, you'll know it if you see it. And so yeah, Subarus, you don't see, I mean, they're still around town. And as you get closer to the target of granola and bumper stickers, the quantity will increase.
Can I just add
it's just science. You can't deny it.
Can I just add that I like Fresh Market and Whole Foods?
No, they're great stores. I'm just telling you, like if I were Whole Foods or Fresh Market, I know what my audience drives. Let's just put it that way.
Which is an important factor. Why?
The collaborations, marketing. Like if you can picture your customer, like normally you want to say, okay, these are the clothes they wear.
It's your avatar.
These are the cars that they drive, and it makes it more predictable to figure out what kind of food I can sell them. It's all organic, non-GM or no GMOs. Is that how you say that?
Non-GMO.
Non-GMO. There you go.
I don't know. I just said that. Maybe it's not
gluten-free. How many?
Yes. So
I'm curious how many Subaru owners in the chat. Like this
I doubt it.
You.
At this point, you've offended them to the point that they're gone.
Listen, it's not offensive. It's just, it is. It's just it's a fact. I can't do anything about that.
Guys, could we secretly, because I don't have enough money for this. Can we crowdfund a fund for me to sell CR's truck? It's only worth like $5,000. I'm going to sell his truck and we'll crowdfund the rest. And I'm going to replace it with a Subaru. So he just wakes up one morning, the truck is gone and he's driving a Subaru.
I thought you were going to say, let's fund a research project.
No.
To actually look into this data.
No, I was going to give you a little immersion therapy.
Listen, we got ceiling fans going over here. There's got to be some type of study on this. I can't be crazy.
That's your homework. You can do the research and bring it back to us at the next live.
All right.
You can bring us all
Challenge
the information.
Accepted.
Not right now.
Oh, okay.
Picking up your phone. Yes, I use 2 different products. Am I going to remember the name of them? No. A mousse and a curl cream. I'll come back and add them to the description box, Leah, so that I do not forget. I've tried a bunch of different stuff, but these 2 I've kind of stuck to because I really, really like them. Yes, you know what? KB me. That's a very cute dog in your profile picture. That's a ratty. That's a ratty. Yeah, we're gonna set a standing one, and we're just gonna figure out what that's gonna be. Yeah, right after this. Put it on my tab. I did another movie quote and you missed it.
I put it on my tab. Which one is that, hon? Put it on.
Next, the Jackson 5. Yes.
Like it. You have one more note down here.
Oh, wait, I'm not there. We're trying to answer their questions. We told them if they had questions.
Are there any gigglers in here?
What's a
I don't know. It looked good though.
Okay. You made me uncomfortable. You just made me raise my hand for something that I don't even know what that is. We talked about Tuah, Bambi. The Crash Daddies was the only.
Is that what that says?
Yeah, what do you think it says?
I don't know. My eyes are going. Hush Puppies?
No, but that does sound really good. Hush Puppies. I love Hush Puppies. Granola versus Street Racer.
It's so true. And they're engineers.
I said if I won the lottery, I'd get a Subaru, LOL, then a Porsche guy.
Seriously, WRX driver, like Subaru guy, is always like that demographic is a 20 to 30-year-old Caucasian man, and you're either in computer sciences or you're an engineer. That's you.
What say ye about Teslas?
I don't know. I haven't noticed. I haven't picked up on it. Like, I'm sure that something similar can be done. I just noticed it when we used to live in Mint Hill and we would go to Whole Foods. I'm like, where did all these Subarus come from? And it's just like
he would drop me off to run in to buy formula because that was the only place that sold the specialty formula for the twins that cost an arm and a leg.
That's right.
And
that's why we were there.
You would drop me off. I'd run in to buy formula. And by the time I come out, he'd be driving the parking lot. Go, do you see all the Subarus in here? Look at all the Subarus. And so you and all of our children who were in the car at the time were like counting Subarus.
I'm pretty sure it's in like one
Christine
blog.
said Jerry's going home for the day. Guys, let's speculate wildly about 100% speculation. What in the actual hell is going on in that jury room? I feel like the answer, have we even looked at the poll results? No, because my mouse is like, it's lagging. It's really lagging. Okay.
Do you need new batteries?
I'm going to end the poll now so we can see. Okay. Can you move your Manly, please?
Look, this is not a Stanley. This thing is huge. It's a Manly.
That's what she said. Not guilty, 40%. Guilty, 25%. Hung jury, 17%. Factually innocent, 16%. I said we're going to speculate wildly for just a hot second about what in the Haichi double hockey sticks they're doing in that jury room. Where I'm leaning more and more towards hung jury because I think there's absolutely no way that they have an entire jury full of people who are willing to vote guilty. It's got to be a holdout. Everyone else wants not guilty, and there's a holdout that wants guilty. Now, I don't know if you guys know this about me. This could be new information for you. I was once on a jury.
You loved it so much.
And I was also the jury foreman.
Would you think anything else?
And honestly, it wasn't chosen by the judge.
It was
chosen by the jurors. I just want to clarify that. It wasn't like the judge was like, seat number 1, and that was just happened to be me.
Was that Bev? Did you just...
Welcome to the sidebar. Sidebar.
Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson. I heard somebody say the other day, which, gosh, we could have a whole nother tangent about this because it's on my list of things to rant about. But that
I'm getting my
that accent, that like very thick Boston accent, doesn't say the R unless there's a W in which it adds an R at the end. And I sat there and I thought about it for a second and I was like, that's true. Because they'll say like the car side by, and then she'll call it the lar, like, and the lar, like the law. I can't say it. I can't even do it.
The word is law,
but there's an R at the end.
So how do you say lawyer? Lawyer?
No.
Lawyer?
Unless the word like ends in a W, then there's an R added at the end. And when you actually hear her talk or other people with a very thick Boston accent, it comes across. And nobody's allowed to get offended because the Southern accent is the one remaining thing that people are allowed to stereotype with absolute impunity. You can make fun of Southerners and assume that they are stupid. In fact, I heard a cop talking the other day about the testimony of the officers in this trial, and they were like, if those guys had had a thick Southern accent, everyone would have written them off and been like, these honky, whatever cops are so inept and whatever. And it's true. I watched very much the Murdaugh trial, and there was a lot of judgment flying around simply because some people involved in that case had very thick Southern accents. So it's the accent that people assume. It's the accent people use when they're impersonating somebody stupid. If you think about it, it's almost always the accent when you're going to pretend you're dumb or say somebody else is dumb, they use a Southern accent. Okay? That's all I want to say about that before anybody's like, you're making fun of Boston accents. I'm not. Okay? What is it that they said in Good Will Hunting?
Please tell
I
me.
can't think of it, but anyways, Auntie Bev's sidebar. Welcome to the sidebar. I love it. I just love it. I think it's fun.
Reminds me of the seagull from whatever is it Finding Nemo? Beep, 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 beep. The seagulls? Am I thinking Finding Nemo?
But the bird, they say mine.
Mine.
Not beep, beep. Who says beep, beep?
I don't.
It's a bird. They say mine. Mine. I honestly have no idea about the Karen Reed trial. Yes. Well, I have heard that there are Netflix cameras. That Netflix has cameras there right now. So
that wouldn't surprise me. Just get their freaking meat hooks in there.
Oh, if there's money to be made on it, ask Tuah, girl. People be making money, you know? If there's money to be made, they're going to make it. Honey.
Girl. I think Crash Daddy needs to come out with some merch. The thirsty freaking. It's
just the internet will internet. And I think it's hilarious that I was listening to a live stream. It was on the day that they were voir dire and the voir dire.
You enjoy saying that word way too much.
I do. But it was when that first day that they were testifying, sort of before when the jury was not present, for the judge to decide if she was going to let the testimony in. And immediately the chat on the live stream was like, "Oh, Crash Daddy." Like that's what they were calling the crash reconstructionist guy, was Crash Daddy.
That's pretty funny.
It makes me laugh, but I'm also, I don't know. I get a little bit like about stuff like that, simply because if it was the other way around, the internet would be full of rage if somebody was objectifying a woman like that. Like I've said this before and I'll say it again. Most women have objectify me when I'm in the mood to be objectified, and only that.
My cheeks are hurting because you're making me laugh so much.
It's so true. They lie and pretend like they don't want to be objectified at times when they do. But anyways, Crash Daddy.
Accident reconstructionist one or medical one?
Well, I think the first guy, Dr. Wolf, is the one that sort of, or
you know his name? What is this?
His name is Dr. Wolf. What did I say to you before you say anything? Because this is not Crash Daddy for me. Because who did I tell you that he reminds me of instantly?
Riley.
My nephew. Yeah. Okay, my 18-year-old nephew. So this is not my Crash Daddy. Okay. No. Listen, my dad has robbed me of Kevin Costner. I don't get to partake in the Crash Daddy commentary.
Which I don't see that at all.
I don't either, but
at all.
It's ruined a lot of
to me.
My fans.
Which he just left the show, by the way, I heard. I think he left Yellowstone for some reason. I don't have no idea why.
Listen, there's absolutely no way that I could hold on, let me see. Alexis, probably one or two holdouts, or they're playing Monopoly. I've thought about that too, Alexis. I've thought about whether or not they're you just sucked up 8 weeks of our lives. Now, just like the lady in Renaissance Man, I'm going to make you sit there until you die and turn to dust. That's what they're thinking is okay, you guys just wasted 8 weeks of our lives. Now,
just out of spite.
Yes. Almost we'll give you a verdict when we feel like it. No there's not that many petty jurors, but I bet I would definitely, if I was a juror in that case, be petty with a capital P.
That's not very forewoman-y of you.
No, that's exactly as the foreman woman.
Oh my God! Did you just?
I would impart upon my subjects that we need a little payback, a little vengeance. How can we do that?
Let's get some subs in here.
Can we have sandwiches? We want cookies. I just start making demands. You want a verdict? We want cookies.
It's turned into a hostage situation.
You want a verdict? Bring the cupcakes. I bet you there's lots of good bakeries in the Boston area. Is all I'm saying.
Some good.
I really think
cream-filled donuts.
I really think at the end of the day that there has to be just somebody who is so anti the possibility that there could be that kind of corruption happening that they just are refusing. That's why I think we may see a hung jury here. I don't know. The scoop, there's absolutely no way we could give you the scoop in a reasonable time frame, and so
Google it.
you can definitely look it up, but you know, it's sad because there's a man that is deceased that shouldn't be, and we don't really know why. In my opinion, we don't know why, but we do know that there's somebody on trial that probably never should have been. And at the very least, the state has not met its burden beyond a reasonable doubt. Whatever else you believe beyond that, I have a very hard time believing that anybody could say beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you do, then I would ask you, if that was your sister, your mother, your friend, and would that evidence be enough for you to feel okay with them being convicted?
To a moral certainty, unique to
Massachusetts. It's not, I think there's other states that have that language, but it's very rare to have that language to understand beyond a reasonable doubt. They go farther in saying that it's to a moral certainty. So how many things do you feel certain about morally, like that you would say, I'm certain about this? I can't imagine how you could possibly get there, especially with Crash Daddies. Crash Daddies told you it ain't possible. So, okay. We believe in Crash Daddy or Proctor or Trooper Paul, who reminds me of a guy I dated, which I can't, so I can't trash him too much here. But Trooper Paul, I felt sorry for Trooper Paul. I was like watching he got spanked and sent home crying, and I felt sorry for him a little bit. I was like, math is hard, okay, you know. But also, never mind. I'm not going to say that. Whoop, lives. I should learn my lesson. Not going to say that. Yes, it'll definitely be a documentary. I agree. I loved Jury Duty, Delightfully Feasting. I was torn because I had a lot going on. It was right before my book came out. I had my audiobook recording.
You got dressed up. I mean, you looked like the lawyer. If I remember, didn't somebody mistake you for a lawyer that day? That's right. Ma'am, do you know where and you're
I am from the South, and we take these things seriously. Like,
you loved it, dude.
You show up to court, you should show up. There were people looking like you rolling in there,
as they should,
in a t-shirt and
we the people
in swim trunks, and I was like wearing a collared shirt and a blazer, and people at lunch in the cafeteria and in the elevator thought I was a lawyer. I'm like, no. But I dressed with respect to the courts, to the judge, to the lawyers, to the defendant, in my opinion. But either way,
forgot about
so anyways, I like wanted to get picked, but also not. I kind of wanted to get picked for a slightly more exciting case, but that's okay. And so anyways, I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed getting to be a part of this process, and like take part in our legal system and our system of justice. So anyways,
where is your kids? Where are our kids? They're right over there, hanging out with their older sisters.
Oh, I'm like, who are you talking to?
I don't know.
Okay. SpongeBob. I'm seeing things about SpongeBob. Dr. Wenchler. Yeah, I feel like everybody was like, Dr. Wolf, Dr. Wolf. I thought Dr. Wenchler was like, bam, with the hammer. Like, he came in and was like, you could tell that he was like, this is nuts.
This is silly.
I felt like it was very obvious that he thought this whole thing was nuts. That I think he felt like, are we even having this conversation? And I'm not somebody who, by the way, thinks that like a bunch of fancy degrees and stuff make you like, I should be forced to agree with everything that you say because you have some fancy degrees and stuff. But this is beyond that. This is black and white, right? Like, this is physics, math. This is something that can be tested and proven. And I don't just have to take your word for it.
You can coherently and simply explain it. That's the magic. right?
Yeah.
Nobody understands. Not everybody on the jury or everybody in the audience or everybody watching knows the formulas related to physics and how you calculate for speed and time and all these things.
I've already fallen asleep. You said something.
Exactly. But if you can simplistically and coherently explain it and sound confident in your answer, people are going to believe you. Mm-hmm. That's just it.
But yeah, I think the simple explanation of it to me, for those of us who are not engineering and mathematically minded, I appreciated the very simple breakdown, because it doesn't have to be complicated, because our common sense told us that didn't really make a lot of sense what that other guy said, for a lot of reasons. But common sense said, this doesn't really make sense. And then he came in and was like, not only to science, but common sense. They had a baby. Me, Dr. Venchler. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. Like, that makes sense.
I actually like this. I want to do this. I've talked to the boys, not necessarily.
Oh, hold on. I'm not there yet.
But
you're getting ahead of us. What I was trying to, traveling through what she said, hit the like button. I'm terrible at this stuff where you like have to tell people to subscribe and hit the like button, but do that if you're still here. Do that.
We've been going for a little while.
Okay, well, sorry, we'll start to wrap. I could do this all day because I just have fun chatting with people. Michelle, it's coming this coming Monday. Yes, this coming Monday is the next one, and we're going to get on a much more regular schedule with them. If you missed the beginning of the live, I talked about that at the beginning of the live, kind of what happened. I don't know what you're putting me on retainer for, Alexis, but you might want to rethink that.
The lawyer in you.
I have very little real world skills.
You can't handle the truth.
Shashi, is that how you say your name? Because that is the name that I called Ashley, my sister, our entire childhood growing up, because I couldn't say Ashley. I called her Shashi. So the name, the kids are being kids, doing kid stuff. I think sometimes people forget, because so many of you have been around here for so long, and y'all remember when we first started filming and the kids were all little, that our youngest is 4, but the rest of our kids are basically 7 and up, which means that so long as we're all on the same piece of property, nobody is like putting stuff in their mouth and choking anymore, so everybody's at an age where we can go and do. The big girls are inside with them. Like, we don't leave the little kids without supervision, obviously, but
let them fend for themselves.
There's 8 of them little rats, like they can take care of themselves. Kids, who needs to watch them? They're fine. I think this is interesting. If you're on rewind. If you were on a high-profile jury, would you do interviews after the verdict?
Dude, I totally would.
I would not do interviews right after the verdict. I would write a book and get a book.
Well, I think it's all kind of in the same thing. Like, the entire process should be transparent. Like, I should be able to look at a camera in the jury room, in my opinion. All of it. I think all of it.
You should be able to listen to the jurors' deliberations.
The more transparency to all of it, the better. Yes.
No, you should not be able to listen to the jurors.
I do.
Then everybody, no.
Maybe hide their faces or something and names, but
jury deliberations, no.
The more transparency, the more light, the better.
I'm all for transparency in the court, but the jury deliberations,
the jurors that are.
What if they decide? What if the jury decides to nullify? They would never.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
That's a big word.
Exactly
that's
why
a big, fancy
you
word.
should not be in charge of making decisions like cameras.
Don't 4-person me on the live stream.
Not 4-personing you. I'm saying that.
In all honesty, I don't know what that means though. Like
math and stuff, jury and stuff, deliberate and stuff.
Give me cameras. I want all of it. I don't want any secrets. And so, yes, I would spill all of the tea.
When juries nullify, it's basically which technically they're not supposed to do. Technically you're not supposed to do that. That's why there's an instruction in the jury instructions about not doing this. It's where a jury goes in and says, this person is factually guilty, and we know that, but we are going to vote not guilty because we don't believe this law, this thing is actually something this person should be convicted for, charged with, should even exist to begin with.
Okay.
So
It's you have to apply the law as it's written, basically.
Correct.
And, not
and nullify means that person was charged with this, but I think that's a BS law anyways. Okay. So I'm not going to convict them.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
So that's what jury nullification is. And if you put cameras in there, if they find out that you nullify, because it's just a not guilty
if you're
verdict.
Not supposed to do it, then you wouldn't, like, you would know if they.
Oh, right, big
right?
brother. If you're not supposed to do it.
I'm just I just like transparency.
Okay.
And if I'm able
Should
to
we put cameras
out,
in our bedroom too then, so everyone can
related
see
to the legal system?
I'm kidding. I'm
not
kidding.
Ours. I'm just joking. Should we take down some? I'm just
welcome to Angie's sidebar. And you're gonna hear me say objection. Facts not in evidence. It's bigger than it looks. Facts not in evidence.
You need to end this live.
I know.
It's time.
Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure we get through any other questions. I'm so sorry. My cousin Vinny. The defense is wrong. Yeah, I actually so glad that you brought this up. I just watched My Cousin Vinny with Kennedy and Shelby a couple of nights ago, and they enjoyed it very much. I was like, I think it's time. It is time to show them My Cousin Vinny.
We have a running list of movies that we're going to be introducing the kids to.
This is next on the list, and you and me, and
good movie.
Simpatico.
That one's really good.
I gave them a choice, and they wanted to watch My Cousin Vinny first because it's a little, it's funny. But that's next on the list for them. But yeah, the defense is wrong.
I've never seen it. I think it's time.
So if you guys are wondering what we're going to be doing tonight, I'm going to be watching My Cousin Vinny for the second time.
I'm not
in a week.
I don't want to watch it.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like if I wanted to see it, I would have watched it already. I mean, it's an older movie. You've introduced, like, of my catalog of movies, I would say his
logic is starting to go. So I do
50%.
think that's right. Thank you, Tori. It puts the jurors at risk for their safety if they make a decision the public doesn't agree with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hide their faces, don't give up their identity, but
people find out who they are.
I want to hear what people are saying.
But it's part of the public record. You're saying transparency. It's part of the public record.
What, the jury deliberations?
No, but afterwards.
I want full transparency.
You don't get transparency in the jury room. That's not where you get transparency.
What you're thinking and why you're wrong. Because I'm always right. Don't we know this by now?
Yes, sir. Quick, you guys, feel sorry for me. I'm a poor housewife. Yes, sir.
Make me a sandwich.
You actually do like it when I make you sandwiches.
You make great. I thought I made good sandwiches, but your sandwiches it's the
my
bread.
Sandwiches are so much.
It's the homemade bread, and it's the bread. It's all in the bread.
Yes, Jennifer, thank you. This is a high school level law class. Okay, nobody's passed the LSATs around here. We've got no real information to give you other than the very basics. Okay, but I still feel like most people don't even know that. So
and therein lies the problem.
And this is very much true as well. This is basically what it's like all the time. Yeah. Our kids even laugh because
they just pull up a snack.
Like, they do. We'll start one of these conversations in the kitchen, and Kennedy and Shelby just hop on the countertop with a little bowl of Cheez-Its and just watch. And sometimes I have to get them to, like, roll the tape. He said that. You heard him say that. Roll the tape. And they're like, yeah, you did say that, Dad. Yes. Finally. Somebody to back me up. I just wanted to see your face when you saw that.
She speaks the truth.
I don't even actually know that she's talking to us. She might be talking to somebody else in the comments. I just saw that. Okay, you guys, an hour and 40 minutes of your time we have utterly wasted. Thank you so much. Not the right accent. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are going to make this standing in addition to our vlogs. It's not going to be like any swapping out for the vlogs. We'll make it standing.
Do we need
I'll do a poll. Should we do
order or something?
Yes, I'm going to put a poll on the community tab of like days, times that work for you guys so people can vote, so we can try to accommodate as many of y'all as possible who want to join us for the live streams. But I hope you guys have a fantastic
and topics to talk about.
Yeah, and
Like,
we'll have them weigh in on what they listen.
If you want to talk about
sometimes we just talk about whatever we want, and that's he's
I
like
never got to my gas station story.
Everything
we'll have to say
he never even told you about getting hit on at the gas station this week. I almost had to fight somebody.
Would have gone down.
We'll save that for the next live. Come back next live if you want to hear about CR getting hit on at the gas station. And I almost
convenience store. They prefer to be called convenience stores.
If I had to go up there and fight somebody. Okay. So we'll save that for the next live. It'll be a great story. Come back. Love you so much.
See ya.
Bye.